today with a good heart to shake your hand, each and every one of you. Thank you all for coming. Once again, you heard the lady say, my name is Cody Tuber. In our language, Matonupa. I'm a Yanktonay from the Cuthead Band. My family, my ancestors, came from the east side of the Missouri River and lived there for 150 years before 1862, before the Minnesota Uprising and the White Stone Hill Massacre that moved us to the west side of the Missouri River, where you see where the camps are today and where the protest is happening today. And I come to you today with a strong heart. I have two special guests with me here. They're Native American students that go to the college here. And the reason why I do what I do, why we're all here today, is for one common purpose. It's our water. Hundreds and hundreds of years of what we're seeing today has built up in this time. This federal government and the great United States which we live in was founded on violence. If you know your history, this country has taken a lot in a violent way and continues to do that today. And the reason why I'm here, and like I said, things happen for a reason. My flight got delayed. So I said, you know what? I'm coming to an action. We're going to make this happen today. I'd like to thank each and every one of you on behalf of Standing Rock, on behalf of my people to your people. It's a very humbling experience to be a part of this movement today and to be able to see this in our time today. There's been a lot of prophecy in our ways of life that have told us the seventh generation is here. We never understood what that meant. We've always heard of, what do you mean when you say the seventh generation is here? And now we're starting to see the pieces of the puzzle come together. We're starting to understand how powerful the seventh generation is. When they decided to reroute the pipeline from Bismarck, North Dakota, down to our lands, a half mile from my community in Cannonball, which I represent, which I'm the Iyapaha of, Iyapaha meaning speaker for the people. What we did at that time is we said, only way we could defeat this, because we had ceremony, the only way we can defeat this pipeline is through peace and prayer. And that was told to us by the Creator through ceremony. And He said, if you can do this fight with peace and prayer, you will win. And that's what He was told. And that's how we're moving forward together. This is unprecedented of what's happening today. We not only had 350 tribal nations come together, we've also had Black Lives Matter groups, different types of organizations come and stand with our people, just like you guys are here today, for one common cause, the water. And we understand water is a very important thing. 85% of our bodies contain water. And we understand how important it is. The Missouri River, which we're trying to protect today, not just for us, but for everyone. Why we're trying to protect that is because it's the second freshest water source in this country. And we need to preserve that. I've been all over the country the last 2 months. Had the opportunity to speak at many, many great places. I spoke at a forum in Southern Methodist University against NoDAPL consultants, telling me about statistics, telling me about how great pipelines are compared to other forms of transportation. And what I told them is how many options we have to choose from. What, railway, truckers, tankers, pipelines? I said, I might agree, pipelines may be the safest, but in my eyes, in my people's eyes, in the world's eyes, there is no safe way. Telling me that pipelines, there is no death because of pipelines. They keep telling me this, and I tell them, yeah, you're probably right. There is no deaths because of pipelines, but it's not about death. It's about not having to pay $15 to $20 for a bottle of water in the next 10 years. That's what it's about. It's about preserving what we have left for our future generations to come. Everyone that's standing here today has grandchildren, children, sisters that are younger than them. And every time I go out and do these speakings, that's who I speak for. Who's speaking for the animals? For the four-legged? For the winged ones? The ones that don't have a voice? And that's why this thing is so important today, moving forward, and why I think, it's just not about Standing Rock. It's not just about native reservations. It's just not about indigenous peoples in this world. This issue is about everyone that lives on this planet. Because moving forward today, we have to look at more renewable and green energies. And why I say that is because it's so important. These 1% corporations of America have definitely put its toll on this planet. But you gotta remember, they're only 1%. We're the 99% of this country. And that's why this movement is so big. That's why it's so huge. Is because now that 99% is starting to stand up and fight for what's right. NoDAPL itself is going against 3 federal agencies. Okay? Department of Interior, Department of Justice, and the Army Corps of Engineers told NoDAPL to stop what you're doing. Do not do construction 20 miles this side of the river and 20 miles that way. I was home 3 days ago, and they're continuing to go along towards the borehole. They released a statement, Dakota Access Pipeline, saying, regardless of the permit, we're going to continue on with the process, and we're going to drill in 2 weeks. And all I'm saying is,
no drilling!
Absolutely, no drilling. Yes. And that's all we're saying. Is if we have to follow the law, how is it that these bullies, these 1% of America, is able to do stuff with no consequences?
Yeah.
No action. And today, as I stand here and talk to you, our tribal council passed a resolution a month and a half ago to do away with all the banks associated with Dakota Access Pipeline and Energy Partners LLC. And when we did that, you've seen a mass movement of people across the country, across the world, protesting at these banks for a common cause. It's not hard to figure out that water is
Life!
Absolutely. Water is
Life!
It's not hard to figure that out. It's simple. And we're doing this, like I said, for our future generations to come. And I thank each and every one of you that now is looking at, because I never thought that this would come to my backyard. I never thought that. There's a lot of us probably sitting here doing the same thing. Some of us here already have been affected. This is just not going on in Standing Rock. This is going on all over the world. I had the chance to speak with Leonardo DiCaprio. Had to sat on a panel with Before the Flood, global warming, climate change. And I was told we still have time to turn this over. It's a very small window, but we can do it if we all come together like we're doing today and move forward in a good way for a good cause. Because we're all here for the unborn. We're all here for our children as we stand here today. And if there's one thing that I can leave with you today, it's hope. Never move forward in fear. Do not be afraid no more. Do not be afraid to speak up against these corporations, against these bullies, against these one percenters. The Creator has given us a voice. Now we have to stand up and start using that voice. And today is that day, my relatives.
Yes! Use your voice!
And moving forward, we're going to move forward together and make this change happen. Force our government to stop harming Uchimaka, in our language, Mother Earth. A lot of you use the word Miniwichoni. In our language, that means water of life. Because water of life, what that really means is it nourishes everything. That's how we grow. That's how we nourish this land. History would tell us that to survive, we need water. First thing we do is we go find a water source to survive. So when I went down to Energy Partners LLC 2 weeks ago down in Dallas, Texas, and I spoke to those consultants and I told them, I want to see you live without water for 4 days. And I want you to tell me how that feels. They had no comment because they understand how water is important. And all we're asking from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe moving forward is to continue with peace and prayer. Because once we start coming out with violence, we're no better than them. We're no better than 1% of America for what they've been doing to us all these years. And one last thing, I want you guys to do the chant before I go. Before I say, how, Madakiapi, Madakiwe, Awasi. Before I say that, I want you guys to do the chant. You guys ready? Okay, when I say Mani, we choni, you guys say water is life. You ready? Mani, we choni.
Water is life!
Hold your hand up. Mani, we choni.
Water is life!
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 Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you for the support of Standing Rock. My heart is with you guys. And